Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and we're going to be making a video talking about my favorite games from every single year ever since I was born. So I was born in 2001. We are going to be covering the years from 2001 all the way to 2020. We aren't doing 2021 since that is obviously a year that we're currently in progress on, and it wouldn't make sense to make a video on that considering that not all the games in 2021 that I want to play are out yet. So we're doing 2001 to 2021. This video is going to focus from 2001 to 2011 since I'm going to make this a two-part video, and then the second video is going to be 2012 all the way to 2020. So I want to thank my girlfriend for this idea. I was sitting around just trying to think of an idea for a video, and she flat out said to do this one, and I thought that was a really good idea, so thank you, Ashley. I hope you guys enjoy this video. The way that I'm going to do it is I'm just going to have all these games in PowerPoint presentations like I did for the Pokemon ones. I'm going to show all my favorite games from that year, and then I'm going to say which one is my favorite one. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Alright guys, so we're going to start off looking at 2001, and these are my favorite games from that year. The ones following are Halo CE, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, GTA 3, and Max Payne. When it comes to Halo Combat Evolved, this was my introduction into the Halo series because this is my dad's game, and to this day, it's one of my favorite games of all time. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle was one of my first 2D Sonic games I ever got, so I was really into this game, and this basically got me into the Sonic franchise. Despite playing other Sonic games before this, this was probably my favorite 2D Sonic game, right next to possibly Sonic Heroes and Sonic Adventure DX. So next one, GTA 3 wasn't my introduction into the series. It was actually one of the last games that I played in the series because my first one was GTA 4. I got GTA 5 next, and then when I wanted to play the rest of the series, I got the GTA trilogy for the PS2 and eventually got them for the Xbox as well. Max Payne, I'm about halfway through that one. I forgot to mention I'm also like 5 missions away from beating GTA 3, but Max Payne, I got halfway through that, so I love all these games quite a lot, but Halo is Halo. It's probably my favorite game on this list, but Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is following right behind it as also one of my favorite games of all time. Alright guys, so we're here at 2002, and it looks like there really weren't that many games from 2002 that I was absolutely in love with, but for the ones here, these are some incredible games, and some that I still play quite frequently. So my favorite game on this list is definitely The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. I'm just going to say that outright. If you guys know me and you've been seeing my channel for some time, this is basically like my top 5, maybe top 10 favorite games ever, and you know, I just loved the way that this game was made, and this is what got me into the Lord of the Rings in general. It made me buy the books, it made me watch the movies. This game was my introduction. This was one of the games that this was probably the first game I ever got addicted to, and I've said in past videos, I literally like forced myself to hold in my shits when I was playing this game, and there would be times where I shit myself. So yeah, love that game a lot. Burnout 2 I didn't grow up with, but I grew up with Burnout 3 and really enjoyed that game. So going back to Burnout 2, when collecting for the original Xbox, I really enjoyed it, and I 100% completed the crash section of the game with all gold ranks. So yeah, I think that was pretty cool. And when it comes to Jedi Outcast, Jedi Knight 2, I played that in the GameCube first, and I really enjoyed it back then. I mean, I never got past the first mission in the game when I was playing it on the GameCube, but I did play the capture the flag mode quite a lot, and I kind of just free roamed for the most part, but I played the game with my brother quite a lot. So awesome game, and everything on here are awesome games. So let's jump to 2003. Taking a look at 2003, we had a shitload of games that I loved that year. So we had Halo 2, Fable, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Soul Calibur 2, Doom 3, Ninja Gaiden, Sonic Adventure DX, and Sonic Heroes. So I love every single one of the games that are on this list. My favorite on this list probably has to go to Sonic Adventure DX or Halo 2, but whatever it is, you know, all these games are absolutely incredible. Halo 2 was my second entry to the franchise after playing Halo 1 with my dad. Well, by the time I was playing these games, he had both of them already, so at that point, I think they were both kind of my entry, but that doesn't really matter. When it comes to Fable, I played through this game on the PC, and it was absolutely incredible. Knights of the Old Republic, I just started playing. I really wanted this game in my collection for a long time. Eventually got it a few months ago and started playing it, and I really love it. Soul Calibur 2 was my second entry into the franchise. I played Soul Calibur 1 on the Dreamcast at Game On in Miller Place, the retro game store. That was my entry into that, and then I eventually got the game for my Dreamcast, so I had to get Soul Calibur 2. In my opinion, the definitive Soul Calibur number 2 is probably on the GameCube because Link is included in there, but that doesn't mean you're really getting anything taken away from playing the Xbox version. Doom 3, although isn't my favorite Doom game, it probably is my least favorite Doom game. It really is an incredible kind of game, and it's a whole different look at Doom in general. I feel like it feels more like a Halo game than Doom, but it still is an incredible game. Ninja Gaiden is a game that I've played that's just like really, really hard. I still haven't gotten past that many levels, so I'm looking to play through more of it, but I love it. Sonic Adventure DX, I think I got this after I got Sonic Adventure 2, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong about that. Whatever it is, I thought that the gameplay was really cool. Obviously, the game hasn't aged very well in that regard, but it is a really cool game, and you know, the voice acting is terrible, but I really love the level design and the open world aspect of this. In certain ways, I prefer this to Sonic Adventure 2, but I still do prefer Sonic Adventure 2 over this game. And then we got Sonic Heroes, which I think was my first 3D Sonic game, if I remember correctly, and I had this on the GameCube originally. This game right here, I really loved. I mean, one of my friends who hates the Sonic franchise loves this game, so if that doesn't tell you how good it is, I don't know what does. When it comes to this game, I really loved that you were able to kind of have 3 characters in one to do all different kinds of level platforming, and I always thought that was pretty cool. When I was younger, I used to think Knuckles was going, shit! So I used to come back to this game, and yeah, I would curse at the screen and get yelled at by my parents, but whatever it is, really loved every single one on here. Let's jump to the next year. Alright guys, so taking a look at 2004, this was an incredible year for video games. So my favorite games from this year had to be Pokemon Leaf Green and Fire Red, Spider-Man 2, Burnout 3 Takedown, Pokemon Emerald, Star Wars Battlefront, GTA San Andreas, and the Spongebob Squarepants movie. So when it comes to these games, I love every single one of them, but my favorite game probably has to be Pokemon Emerald. Although I didn't get Pokemon Emerald this year because it didn't come out in the States this year, I included it in 2004 because I'm not really going by region, I'm going by when they were originally released. So Pokemon Emerald's my favorite Pokemon game of all time. It probably always will be. There has not been a single game that I was able to put over this game, not even the Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I thought were amazing versions of this game. But no, Emerald is my favorite game on this list. But there are a lot of other games on here that really, like, I play quite a lot today. So Burnout 3 Takedown is one of those games that I will always go back and play, and I was able to enjoy this game with my girlfriend, who is not a gamer, but she does enjoy playing this because we play that the Road Rage mode, which is honestly my favorite mode in the game and my favorite thing about Burnout 3 Takedown. So Spider-Man 2, I grew up with that game on the GameCube, really enjoyed it, never got far in the GameCube version, but recently I bought the game on the Xbox and beat it in one sitting. So yeah, I really did enjoy the game. It hasn't really aged well to me, but I do feel like it is still a fun one to play. Leaf Green and Fire Red, I got these games much later. I think it was in the 4th grade when I got these, and that was when I got every single Pokemon game for Christmas one year. So I beat these games a long time ago, but then I recently beat them when I was grinding the Pokemon series. So very good remakes of Blue, Red, and Yellow. I really think they were cool, and you know, we finally got that green game that, you know, people were looking for back in the day. Star Wars Battlefront, I loved this game quite a lot. Really great shooter, and it wasn't my entry into the Battlefront series. My entry into the series actually was the reboot of the Battlefront series on the PS4, and then I got Battlefront 2 on the PC because I really wanted to play through that, and then eventually I got Battlefront 1 on the Xbox, and then Battlefront 2 on the Xbox, so really enjoyed these games back then. I'd say my entry into the actual like classic Battlefront series was on my friend's PS2 that I played at his house a few years before I got the games for the Xbox, but yeah, incredible game. GTA San Andreas, this game I actually got on mobile before I got it on my PS2, because when I got my iPhone 5S in the 7th grade for Christmas, I noticed that San Andreas was on the App Store, and I didn't even know that back then it was on the PS2, so I just thought maybe it was a mobile version of the game, but I ended up really loving playing it on the iOS. I eventually got it for my PS2 and loved playing it on there, and later down the line I got it on every other platform, so I'm currently trying to work through this one on the Android port on my Razer Phone 2, and I use a gamepad on that, so it really does look good, and I believe the definitive version of this game probably is on the Android version, since it looks visually the best in my opinion, right next to the 360, and especially because you can turn the resolution up, unless you obviously want to consider graphics mods that you get on PC. But in my opinion, the definitive version is the mobile version if you have a gamepad. And lastly, from 2004, SpongeBob SquarePants the movie. This game was also a major game that I grew up with because I was a huge SpongeBob fanatic growing up, and I love the SpongeBob movie. And I loved playing games like this. I recently beat this for the first time about a year ago after having the game for like almost my entire life, and I really enjoyed it. I do prefer Battle for Bikini Bottom over this one, but SpongeBob SquarePants the movie happens to be one of my favorite SpongeBob games ever, and it definitely is up there of my favorite kind of cartoon games of all time. So yeah, let's jump to 2005, guys. That's everything right there. Alright, so now that we're at 2005, this is another great year for video games. Some amazing games are on this list. So my favorite games from 2005 had to be Revenge of the Sith, which I have on the original Xbox, which I've only started playing recently. I also had it on the DS. Nintendogs, which was a game I grinded on the DS when I first got my DS, and I had the Lab and Friends version. Battlefront 2, which I didn't start playing until much later in my life, so basically I think I was a teenager when I started this game, so I was either 13 or 14 when I had it. Guitar Hero 2, I've been playing this game forever. My dad had it on the 360 before we had a Guitar Hero controller. Eventually I got a Guitar Hero controller for the 360 and played through this game, and then I also got it on the PS2, and I feel like the definitive engine to play this on is on the PS2 because it is a little easier to set a calibration for that. So love Guitar Hero 2, always will. Gun is also another game on that list that was just an incredible game. This definitely gives me like a GTA kind of vibe, and I love the western feel of it. It also gives me kind of like a Red Dead kind of vibe, but really enjoyed the game. I haven't completely finished it yet. I am very close to the end of it on the original Xbox, so probably will end up finishing that whenever I get the time to sit down and do it. Next game would be Shadow the Hedgehog, another game that I grew up with, and I actually loved this game quite a lot. A lot of people who were fans of the Sonic series hated this one because, you know, you were driving vehicles and having guns, but I felt like it was a really cool entry, and I loved that there were multiple scenarios that you can do because it really added to the level design of the game, and I really think this was like a masterpiece kind of game, but a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I will admit that the dialogue is kind of cringe, but everything else about it I was really like happy with, so gotta say Shadow the Hedgehog is one of my favorite games. But my favorite game on this list has to be Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. I really love Pokemon, and as you guys probably saw already in my Pokemon video, if you watched it, I mentioned that XD Gale of Darkness was awesome to me because it was like one of those games that Nintendo decided to experiment on. Rather than doing the regular formula of Pokemon, they went and did a kind of different look at it, and I really loved it. I thought the exact same thing about Pokemon Sun. I love that they did a different kind of look at it rather than doing the classic style of Pokemon, and you know, that's what I love about XD Gale of Darkness. But my favorite thing about this game, and it's a little weird that I'm saying this, but my favorite thing about this game has to be the graphics. To this day, I feel like there's not a single Pokemon game that looks as good as this one did, and I'm still waiting for them to release a Pokemon game 2 console generations later that looks as good as this game. So please, Nintendo, please make a Pokemon game that has a similar engine to this one, because this looked fucking incredible. So yeah, 2005 was an amazing year. XD Gale of Darkness was my favorite game. Let's jump into 2006. Alright, so we're here looking at 2006, and I realized that I made a mistake in the 2005 by putting Guitar Hero 2 there instead of Guitar Hero 1, so I'm just going to say Guitar Hero 1 was a game that I got much later when I decided to get the rest of the Guitar Hero franchise. I didn't have a PS2 for a very long time, so when I finally got my PS2, it was to get the rest of the Guitar Hero games, and Guitar Hero 1 was the first game that I played when I got my PS2, so yeah, made a mistake. Guitar Hero 1 was supposed to be in 2005, not Guitar Hero 2, but right here we have another set of awesome games, and a lot of these games I still go back to and play all the time. So first one is Gears of War, Guitar Hero, and then Guitar Hero 2, Black, New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. I also love the Wii version. Jaws Unleashed, Tomb Raider Legend, Lego Star Wars 2, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, and Wii Sports. So when it comes to these games, they were all really good, and it really is hard to pick my favorite game because I was stuck between Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, Guitar Hero 2, and Gears of War, considering those were all amazing games. But I have to say that Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were probably my favorite games on this list, just because those were the games I grinded out the most and probably enjoyed the most, and they were probably the biggest part of my childhood and the reason why I love Pokemon today. Although I loved Gears of War, the original Gears of War wasn't the reason that I loved the franchise, so I can't really say that that's my favorite game on here. And when it came to Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 2 isn't my favorite game, so I figured since Diamond and Pearl were huge parts of my childhood, I had to pick those. But Gears of War, I didn't play until Ultimate Edition, and that ended up giving me the rest of the Gears of War franchise, so really actually love the Gears of War series. It's my favorite series on the Xbox, right next to Halo. Guitar Hero 2, one of my favorite games on the PS2, and one of my favorite Guitar Hero games of all time. I honestly thought this had an amazing set list, despite some of the covers that didn't sound the best, but great engine to mess around with, especially if you do modded versions of this game where you add different custom songs into it. It definitely is fun to mess around with, and it's my favorite secondary engine other than Clone Hero. Next game has to be Black, and I loved Black on the original Xbox. I'm not completely done with it, but I almost am done. I feel like this completely inspired the Black Ops series because it had a great campaign and a great story that followed it, as well as some awesome mechanics in the game. And although it hasn't aged very well today, I feel like it was a game that kind of laid the groundwork for what a Call of Duty game should have been. So yeah. New Super Mario Bros. I didn't play much of it on the DS. Actually, no, I did beat the game on the DS, but I preferred the Wii version, which came out in 2009. But regardless, really did love New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. Jaws Unleashed, great game. It's a Jaws game. I really did enjoy it, and it was a game that someone at Game On recommended to me, so I decided to get the game and really did enjoy it. Tomb Raider Legend, I grew up watching my dad play this all the time, and eventually I got myself into playing it. For some reason, we got stuck in some level, and we looked up YouTube videos on how to do it, and we followed exactly what the videos did, and it wasn't very helpful, so unfortunately, never beat Tomb Raider Legend, but maybe someday in the future I will end up doing it. Lego Star Wars 2, I got this game after I played Lego Star Wars 1 on the GameCube, and basically, when it came to these games, or this game I should say, I actually ended up losing a copy of this, and I still haven't found it to this day, so I don't know exactly what happened to it. I don't know if I lost it or a friend stole it. Whatever it is, I was never able to find the game, and I know for a fact I never sold it, because I remember I was looking for the game for a really long time. But I really love this game. This is honestly the definitive version of Lego Star Wars to me. I actually liked this one in terms of design better than Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga with those levels. So yeah, I really did like Lego Star Wars 2 for some reason, and I go back to play it once in a while, and I have every single copy of this game ever released. So I have it on the GameCube, the Xbox, the PS2, and the PC, and I might have it on another platform, but I can't remember. Lastly, from this year, Wii Sports, another incredible game that I had a lot of fun with, and although it's more of like a casual player kind of game, I really do once in a while go back and play this just to beat my baseball high scores and all that. So it is a great game to play with your family. It's a great game to play by yourself. A lot of people don't give this that much credit, but I really do feel like it was a well-made game, and it did good use of the Wii motion controls, unlike a lot of the games that came to that platform. So now that we're done with 2006, let's jump to 2007. I wasn't into that many games in 2007, but that doesn't mean that a majority of the games were bad. They were really good games, just ones I didn't really get to jump on, and stuff I really haven't tried out today. So my favorite games from this year have to be Bioshock, Halo 3, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock, Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, Crysis, and Uncharted Drake's Fortune. So when it comes to Bioshock, I played through a majority of this game on the PC when the remaster came out. It looked exactly the same as the original, so honestly, to even call it a remaster was kind of stupid to me, but whatever it is, I played through a majority of it. I saved the game constantly. I was at the very end of the game. My game crashed. I loaded back up the game. My save file was gone, and I still never went back to play it again. So I was very frustrated with that, as you guys can probably tell by how I'm talking. And, one day I may go back and try to finish the series. Halo 3, this came with my dad's Xbox 360, and I believe it might have also came with ODST, but I can't remember 100%. Whatever it was, played Halo 3 a lot growing up. Didn't play through the campaign until I got the Master Chief Collection, but definitely a big game growing up. I played this with a lot of my friends when they came over, because I didn't have Xbox Live and I didn't play the multiplayer. Plus, I was too young to ever do something like that, so it doesn't really matter anyway. But regardless, very great game. Guitar Hero 3, probably I think it's my second favorite Guitar Hero game of all time. Amazing set list, amazing engine, and this was the game that everybody was playing for custom songs as their main engine on the PC before Clone Hero came out. So I'd say this game has aged very well compared to everything in this list. It's probably aged the best. Next game, Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. I just mentioned that I like Lego Star Wars 2 better than the Complete Saga, at least for the levels on there, but Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga was a great game that I had growing up. I also had the DS version, and I believe both versions were amazing games. Recently, I started playing through Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga on PC. I played through every level and got all the studs in all the levels, but now I'm currently working on 100% completion and looking to finish that very soon. When it comes to Crysis, I didn't really grow up playing this game at all. I mean, I wasn't a PC gamer until very recently, so when it came to Crysis, I mean, I only started playing it recently, but it is a great game, and it looks incredible to this day. A 2007 game that still looks like it can be a current-gen game. I'd say that is pretty incredible if you ask me. Back then, this used to fry people's computers, and it literally just, most computers back then couldn't run this game very well, but I'm lucky, very much lucky today to have this game years after it came out, to have a computer that runs this flawlessly. So yeah, Crysis is an incredible game, and I recommend if you guys want to see a demanding game from all back then, definitely try this game out. Lastly, Uncharted Drake's Fortune on the PS3. I didn't get the PS3 version for a long time. I actually got this game much later on because I had the PS4 version of the Nathan Drake collection, and that was my entry into the Uncharted series. It took me a long time to actually play the Uncharted games, but this was my least favorite Uncharted game out of every single one that launched, except maybe Lost Legacy, but I did enjoy this game quite a lot. You know, it was the first Uncharted game to come out on, you know, the PlayStation, so it was a little new, and the developers weren't completely aware of how powerful the PS3 was, so they didn't really utilize it completely when making this game. Uncharted 2 ended up looking a shit ton better when they released that one, but in terms of everything on this list, Guitar Hero 3 probably has to be my favorite game from 2007. I believe the game holds up the best today, and it is still something you can play without thinking, oh man, this game is aging. No matter what platform you play this on, it's an amazing game. I mean, I know they took down the DLC and you can't buy it anymore, but if you have any friends that have the DLC, you can license transfer, whatever it is. I love Guitar Hero 3, but I also love every game on this list. So yeah, guys, we're done with 2007. Let's jump to 2008. Alright guys, so we're looking at 2008 now, and these are my favorite games from that year. The following are Super Smash Bros. Brawl, Bully, Mario Kart Wii, GTA 4, Lego Indiana Jones, the first one, Pokemon Platinum, Rock Band 2, Call of Duty World at War, Guitar Hero On Tour Decades, and Left 4 Dead. These are all incredible games. I'm going to start talking about all these right now. So, Super Smash Bros. Brawl is my favorite Smash game of all time. I really loved the way that this was, and I loved the campaign mode of it. I really thought it was incredible, and I played it over and over again so many times with my cousins, by myself, with my brothers. This really was an incredible game. I was really disappointed when the Wii U game came out and it didn't have something like the style of this. A lot of Smash fans will disagree with me and be like, oh, this game was the worst, man, but, you know, I really thought this was really good, and it was really a game that was meant for everyone, not just the hardcores. I believe this was the best Smash game of all time. That's just my opinion. Next game is Bully, and I played through a majority of this on PC. I believe I also have it on mobile, but that's really it. I don't really remember much of the game, but what I do remember is that it was a lot of fun, and if Rockstar is going to make another game, I hope they make a sequel to this one, because Bully was really, seriously, a great game. Mario Kart Wii, I grew up playing this game quite a lot when I first got my Wii. I believe this game was bundled in with my Wii, if I remember correctly, but I could be completely wrong. I don't remember, but whatever it is, when I got this game, I was playing it all the time. Honestly, it didn't feel like much of an upgrade from Double Dash, but the fact that I had the motion controls, back then I used to really love that when I was younger, so turning the Wii remote wheel was just a lot of fun when I was doing that back then, so Mario Kart Wii was a great game. GTA 4, man, this game was something that was like a whole new level of fun to me when I first played it for the first time. So I hadn't played a GTA game before this. I hadn't even heard of the GTA game before this. And when I first got the game, I couldn't even pronounce it. Story was, my friend came over and showed me the game, and you know, I had a lot of fun with it, but my dad was like, it's kind of violent, so we weren't going to get the game eventually. But when my dad started playing it, you know, he wanted it for himself, so we eventually decided that we would all get it. Basically, when we did get it, if I were to play it, my dad would have to watch me, and he wouldn't allow me to shoot people at point blank. I can only really steal cars and shoot people from a distance if they were shooting at me, so that's all that really was. And if I did shoot at point blank, he would turn off the Xbox. So he was very strict about this shit back then, but in like a month or two, I think he stopped being strict, and I ended up just playing this game all by myself. I didn't beat the game for a long time, but when I did, it was, I think, when I got the game on the PC. Lego Indiana Jones, Really enjoyed that game quite a lot. It honestly was a great Lego game, and I had this game on the DS as well. That was the one that I mainly played, but the Wii version is what I had that I was playing, and it was a really good version as well. But like I said, the DS version was my favorite one of the game. I never ended up finishing Lego Indiana Jones because I lost both of my copies. I don't know where they went, unfortunately, and I don't know if I'll ever find them. Next up is Pokemon Platinum, which is one of my favorite Pokemon games of all time. I think this one was an incredible entry to the series, and this is probably the definitive Sinnoh game to play, but we'll see what happens with Brilliant Diamond and Pearl, honestly. Whatever it is, I really enjoyed Pearl and Diamond, and Platinum coming out next really was just an amazing version of the game. Alright, so right after that, we got Rock Band 2, which I didn't really play too much of, but I still consider it one of my favorite games from that year because I do really enjoy the Rock Band series, and this is one of my favorite games from the Rock Band franchise. My favorite Rock Band game has to be Rock Band 3, followed by Rock Band 2, and then Rock Band 4, and then Rock Band 1. So yeah, one of my favorite games. Next game, Call of Duty World at War, which I never owned on any other platform but the PC. I love this game quite a lot because this is one of those games that has awesome mods available to the game, and they don't care that you put mods in the game. That's what's awesome about this game. The company didn't care that you put the mods in the game. So my favorite thing to do was the custom zombies maps, and that was like my big thing that I was doing for a long time. And I'd say that's what got me heavily into zombies and what made me want to play Black Ops 3 quite a lot. So World at War, incredible game. Let's talk about the next one. Guitar Hero On Tour Decades, my first Guitar Hero game that I ever owned for myself. I got World Tour the same year, but I got On Tour Decades for my DS. I was terrible at this game, never really got good at this game. I am on Expert now, and you know, I've beaten the entire game on Expert, but I can never see myself getting a full game FC on it just because it is a really hard playstyle since the grip tends to fall out when I want to hit buttons a little harder or faster, and my screen isn't the best for picking up the stylus, especially in this game when you have to strum a ton. It's really not great. Left 4 Dead, another incredible game. I played Left 4 Dead 2 first, and then I played Left 4 Dead after that, and I played this with a few friends, and honestly, it is probably one of the best first-person shooters ever, and I really can't wait for Back 4 Blood to come to Game Pass on day one, because I will be playing that. So that's 2008, guys. My favorite game was definitely GTA 4, followed by Pokemon Platinum. GTA 4 introduced me to the GTA franchise, and it is still one of my favorite GTA games ever. I feel like although it hasn't aged very well today, it still is fun to go back and play every once in a while. Recently, I replayed it on my Xbox Series X, and I figured out how to beat the game when a lot of people couldn't because the A button on the last mission at 60 FPS causes you to have to hit it a ton faster. So I made a tutorial on that and how to beat it. But regardless, amazing game. And then with Pokemon Platinum, you know, this was like my big childhood game, so of course it has to be on this list, and it's my second favorite game of all time. It would be my first favorite game if GTA 4 didn't introduce me into the kind of games I'm playing now. Alright guys, so we're in 2009, and my favorite games from this year are Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Van Halen, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Halo 3 ODST, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, and Modern Warfare 2. So, when it comes to Metallica, this was one of the games that I got for Christmas one year when I was trying to get all the Guitar Hero games, and I originally got it on the Wii. Same with Van Halen. I think I got it the exact same day. Both incredible entries to the franchise. I do believe that these games probably should have been DLC rather than standalone games, but that doesn't mean that they were bad. They were basically working off of the Guitar Hero World Tour engine, and they were much more improved engines versus World Tour, so I really did enjoy these games quite a lot. I probably preferred Metallica over Van Halen considering I'm a diehard Metallica fan, but Van Halen was not a bad game either. I really thought that it had an amazing set list of not only Van Halen songs, but songs featured from bands that are associated with Van Halen, which you can also say about Metallica. Metallica had some awesome bands featured that also associated very well with Metallica. You know, you had like stuff like Diamond Head, you had Merciful Fate, and then you even had the Merciful Fate cover song that they had from the Garage Inc. album. But whatever it was, these games were incredible. I've always loved the Guitar Hero series. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, these were like the first Pokemon games that I was ever hyped for, because these were the first games that my cousin told me about before like they came out. So basically, like, my cousin would tell me about the Pokemon games usually after they came out, but since he did his research at this age, he started looking into things, and he found that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were to be coming out in the States later that year, whatever it was. 2009. It would have been middle of 2009, but 2008 it was when he told told me about it. I was in the 3rd grade. I got Heart Gold on day 1. My brother got Soul Silver, and we played through a ton of the game. We didn't enjoy it as much as we did with Platinum, Pearl, and Diamond, but that's just because we didn't know that Heart Gold and Soul Silver were remakes of Gold and Silver. And basically, you know, I enjoyed the games like crazy, but I went into the mindset of thinking it was new. One of my favorite things about this game has to be the Pokewalker, which is pretty funny because that's just a little gimmick, but I still have my Pokewalker. I recently changed the battery, and I still use the thing. Next game on the list is Halo 3 ODST, which was a game that I honestly didn't really enjoy that much, at least nowadays. But back then, I had a lot of fun playing it because I mainly played the multiplayer, at least, well, couch multiplayer, I should say, with my friends. We didn't play through the campaign, but we constantly played against each other. And it was weird because I was actually able to beat them in this game despite being a terrible first-person shooter player, and they were experienced Call of Duty players, but I was beating them quite frequently in Halo 3. They weren't really big Halo fans. I wasn't necessarily a big Halo fan yet, but this is probably my least favorite game in the Halo franchise, but it still was a fun game nonetheless. I'm currently trying to play through the campaign because I believe this is the last game that I need to complete in order to have the full Halo series completed. Next game is Uncharted 2, a amazing improvement over the first Uncharted, and this game is probably my favorite game on this list, as well as being my second favorite Uncharted game right below Uncharted 4, but in my opinion, this is probably the definitive Uncharted game if you're looking for the best Uncharted experience. Uncharted 3 is probably like a slight bit below Uncharted 2 in my opinion, but Uncharted 3 and Uncharted 2 were great games. Uncharted 2 is an amazing game. So, yeah, with that being said, let's jump to the next one. Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City. I got these games after playing through... Well, actually, no. I got these games while I was playing through GTA 4 on the PC. And I originally played them on my laptop. Didn't get very far in them on the laptop because I had a laptop that ran these games at like 17 FPS, and when you did really fast driving, the game tended to crash at some time, so it wasn't the best experience on that. But when I finally got my gaming PC in 2014, I ended up beating these games. I think I beat Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and Damned in the same day, so... Two incredible, amazing games that I recommend anyone playing after doing GTA 4. I love the way that they tie into GTA 4. It's just really a perfect kind of expansion. I really wish they would have done an expansion to GTA 5 rather than just focusing on the online portion this time, but whatever it is, it's fun to look back and look at a game like this. Next game has to be Star Wars The Force Unleashed. I had 2 versions of this game, one of them on the Wii and one of them on the Xbox 360. The 360 was my dad's game and the Wii game was mine, so... When it comes to these games, all of the games are different versions of each other, and they play and have a lot of differences between them. My favorite version has to be the Xbox 360 of this game, but I do love the game as well on the Wii. Actually, no, the Wii version is my favorite version of the game, but the 360 is a great one as well. When it came to the Wii version of the game, I loved that they incorporated the motion controls into the game. I love that you can swing the Wii remote in the game to do it as, like, you know, you were just swinging a lightsaber. I thought it was really cool. I really did love The Force Unleashed on the Wii. So, yeah, that's a game that I'm currently reworking on the Wii, and I'm looking to finish it very soon. Last game from 2009 has to be Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and where I wasn't a big multiplayer guy for a long time, and honestly, I'm really not a big multiplayer guy anymore. When it comes to Modern Warfare 2 and the Modern Warfare series in general, MW2 probably has my favorite campaign from any of the Modern Warfare games. When I play the Call of Duty games, I'm one of the very few people that goes and plays the campaigns all the way through as the first thing I want to do when I get these games. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2's campaign was really good. I love this game so much that I played it in a hotel room while my family was in Disney when we were in a vacation in Florida. So really love this game. And then I beat MW3 and Ghost, I think within the same day or within the next day, whatever it was. I really did enjoy these games quite a lot, and then I watched my brother play through the game too. So yeah, incredible games on this list. I have to say Uncharted 2 is my favorite game on the list. It's one of my favorite Uncharted games of all time, and it is the reason why I have to say that the PS4 was my favorite console of the last generation, considering this was part of the Nathan Drake collection, and that was how I played the game for the first time. Alright guys, so we're looking at 2010 now, and when taking a look at 2010, there aren't that many games that were that great for me this year, but that's not to say these games were bad. The ones that I picked out were pretty good ones. In fact, Pokemon Black and White were my favorite games from the Pokemon on the DS. So let's start off talking about Heavy Rain. This game was one of those games that I thought was an amazing PlayStation exclusive. I played it on the PS4 first before I got it on my PS3, and when it came to this, I thought it told a really good story, but my favorite part of the game had to be see all the glitches that were going on and just everything that was broken about the game. I did feel like there were a few unnecessary scenes that they didn't need to add into the game that were kind of just like, what was the point of adding that? But whatever it was, the game was really good to me. I felt like they did a really good job with the story. But like I said, the glitches in this game were what had me staying. And my favorite thing about this game was probably the last part that you actually played, and that was when you were rescuing Sean, and while the other guy was talking, you can just spam the X button and go, Sean, or whatever the hell it was, Sean. It was just like really, really funny, and I remember watching that glitch happen way back then, but actually being able to do it myself on my own playthrough was so funny as hell. Whatever it was, great game. All right. Next game after that was Halo Reach, a game which I didn't really enjoy too much. I thought the campaign was meh. I didn't really get to play the multiplayer. I haven't played the multiplayer yet, but what I've heard is that the multiplayer in Halo Reach is like among the best multiplayer ever made for Halo, right next to Halo 3. So I'm looking to play that game a little bit more now that I have it on PC, but I also do have it on the 360. Next game has to be Pokemon Black and White, which I just mentioned were my favorite Pokemon games on the DS and still are my favorite Pokemon games on the DS. What I loved about these games is that they also expand, other than them being their own standalone games. They had awesome differences between the two, but after these standalone games, when they came out with the, the kind of remake things that they do, like when they make Pearl Diamond and Platinum, instead of just making the same story, they continued the story, and I felt like it was really cool. I really wish they would have made a Black and White 3 to continue the story from there, but whatever it is, I feel like they did an amazing job on these games. I feel like this is the first time that Pokemon really had its major innovation in terms of story writing and gameplay, and it really was cool to me to see how this was. I felt like this was a big step over Platinum to me. Really did end up loving these games quite a lot. Next up, we got Rock Band 3. Honestly, probably one of the best rhythm games that has ever come out in terms of something when talking about Guitar Hero and Rock Band. This is probably the definitive rhythm game in terms of talking about those games. Although my favorite is Warriors of Rock, I feel like this did the best job at everything. Although the engine was kind of shitty, it had a great song list, it had a shit ton of DLC, it had a ton of instrument support, and a ton of other instruments that you just couldn't play in any other games. And that even includes Rock Band 4. Some of those instruments you can't play in Rock Band 4. So, it was a really awesome game. I just couldn't get myself to play it all the time because I can almost never find a calibration. Plus, the engine is really tight, and I wasn't always good at playing the songs because I would get very frustrated. Next game is Kinect Sports, a game that I actually enjoyed when my dad got his Kinect. Played this one quite a lot, and it happens to be one of my favorite Kinect games that I have. I recently got the game again when I was at a thrift store and I saw it for like $1, so I figured, you know what, I'll get the game. And then I also picked up a Kinect for like $10 on top of that, so that was a pretty good deal for me, and I decided to get all that. So I recently started playing this game again, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. Last game has to be the Back to the Future, the game, which is basically Back to the Future 4, 5, and 6 when looking at the story of these, where I don't feel like they're as good as the actual Back to the Future movies. I feel like they did a very convincing story for what could have happened after Back to the Future 3. I feel like if you're a Back to the Future fan, you should either watch gameplay of this or play through it yourself. I haven't personally played it yet, but I have watched through it many times. I really feel like it was an incredible game. And when it comes to Telltale, I feel like they're the best when it comes to these story-driven games. So that's it with 2010, guys. Let's go to the last year that we're going to discuss in this video, and that's going to be 2011. There were a lot of games this year that were really good, but these were probably my favorite games from this year. And starting off, we're going to be talking about LA Noire, which I feel like was an amazing Rockstar game. I feel like whatever game that Rockstar makes, they always do a good job at doing it. And this game felt like a GTA if you were the cop, and it really was a really cool kind of game. Although I will have to say that it is a very repetitive game, I felt like I could brush that off just for the fact that the story was really good. And they put a lot of plot twists in here that you really just wouldn't expect from a game in this style. And honestly, I think it was a really good story-driven game. Honestly, probably one of their best story-driven games they've ever written. In terms of gameplay, like I said, it was a bit repetitive, and it felt just like a knockoff of GTA, which, I mean, it was made by the same company, so it's not really a knockoff, but it was like a lower kind of GTA game where you played as a cop and you couldn't do nearly as many things, but whatever it was, great game, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. I got this game when I first got my 3DS. I believe it was Christmas of 2011 that I got my 3DS, so I got it with Ocarina of Time 3D, and Since I was young, I didn't know anything about Ocarina of Time in general. I didn't know that this game was on the Wii. I didn't know that this game was on the Nintendo 64. I didn't know that this game was, already a very well-established game that, was considered the best game of all time. So when I got this game, I thought it was brand new. I really did enjoy it a lot. And in terms of the remakes that they made for the 3DS, I feel like they did a good job doing them when they ported them over to the 3DS and kind of made the graphics look better. This, in my opinion, is probably the definitive version of Ocarina of Time. And, if you haven't played Ocarina of Time on the 3DS, I recommend getting this game. I did end up playing Ocarina of Time on the Wii after playing this one. I didn't play all the way through either of them, but I am looking to eventually do that. So, next game is definitely my favorite game on the list, and that is Gears of War 3. I feel like this was like the perfect ending to the Gears of War franchise. Although, Gears of War 4 and 5 came out, I feel like this was like the ending to that era of what they were doing, and it really was an amazing kind of game. A lot of plot twists, a lot of awesome story elements, awesome gameplay as always. And I played this game when I had the Ultimate Edition that came with this game. So I didn't play this game till much later. I didn't get to experience it until like 2014 or 2015. But when I finally did get to experience it, it really was a mind-blowing one to me. So right after that, we got Dark Souls. There's really not much to say about that. It's a really hard game, and sometimes I prefer a challenge. And a game like this is definitely one that you jump into looking for a challenge in mind. So right after that, we got Battlefield 3, another incredible multiplayer game, which I didn't really play much of growing up, but I watched my cousin play this game all the time because he was a first-person shooter guy, and I used to watch him do the multiplayer of this all the time. Just recently, I started the campaign of this on my PS3. I have both the 360 and PS3 versions, but I decided to try it on the PS3 since I honestly don't give the PS3 enough love, and I'm playing through it so far, and I think it really does look incredible for its time, and it plays incredible as well. So that being said, let's jump to Uncharted 3, which is my third favorite Uncharted game, right below Uncharted 2. Honestly, I almost consider this like a tie with Uncharted 2. It really is an incredible game, and the visuals and gameplay and story, just as always, Uncharted was incredible, and this was no exception. I played this on the Nathan Drake collection, but I did recently repurchase it on the PS3 to start collecting all the exclusives for PlayStation in general. So, incredible game. Loved it a lot. Modern Warfare 3. Loved this game. I didn't play this, like I said before, until much later, just like with MW2. I actually got this on the same day as MW2, and I didn't get those games until after Ghost had already come out. So when it came to MW3, I thought the multiplayer was absolutely insane, and I feel like this was like the second best Call of Duty Modern Warfare campaign. I felt like it was a very good story-driven game, and I loved the ending of it, especially. If they never made a Modern Warfare game after this, I wouldn't have been upset. I feel like this was a perfect way to end it. Obviously, now they rebooted the franchise with, Modern Warfare on the, the Xbox One and PS4, which also are on the Series X and PS5. But whatever it is, this game was absolutely incredible, and I wouldn't have been upset if this was the last Modern Warfare game. So that's alright guys, so that is it for this part of the video. Like I said, this was going to be more than a one-part video, so the next video you are going to see is going to be covering 2012 to 2020. This obviously was 2001 to 2011, and it was already a long video, so just imagine if I combined all that into one. I really enjoyed making this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you all in the part 2, and it's going to follow the exact same format as I did with this one.